Hey Solos, it's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Solo Magic, the podcast about the magic of going to Disney World solo. This is another bonus episode for you. It's another solo story about someone sharing their experiences going to the park solo and the different things that they learn about themselves and the parks being able to go on their own. This week I am talking with Jedi Alley. Jedi Alley is a Florida native, an annual pass holder, and also a travel agent. And while she grew up going to Disney, going by herself now as an adult, especially someone who lives close to the parks, has been able to kind of open up a whole new world of experiences and things on her quote bucket list that she wants to do or is able to do because she has the ability to go by herself. It's so wonderful to listen to these conversations and to listen to what people get from them and what people want to share from them. And I am just so thankful that Jedi Alley came on the podcast to talk about their experiences. You can get all of her social media information in the links below this episode. And you can also contact me on social media with those links as well. I am Disney_solo_magic on Instagram and Disney Solo Magic on Facebook. And if you want to share your solo story, I'm currently booking for solo stories for August. I already have people that I will be able to fill up June and July. Yeah. And it's just been so incredible to be able to share these stories as well. Please let me know. Just a reminder that you can listen to this on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can listen on all three, really, I don't mind. Please make sure you subscribe, you rate, you share with others. It's really wonderful to see how this podcast is growing, and that's thanks to you. So thank you so much. All right, let's go over to our conversation with Jedi Alley. Alyssa, hi, welcome to the Solo Magic Podcast. I'm so excited to have you on here to hear about your solo story.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, no problem. I'm so glad we were able to connect on Instagram. It's been just so wonderful to be able to connect with so many different people. And yeah, I'm excited to connect with you. So, could you tell us all a little bit about yourself and your Disney journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Alyssa, but a lot of people know me by Ali or call me Ali. People also might know me in the parks as Jedi Ali.
Ooh,
So that's pretty cool. I've been a content creator for about 7 years now. And I recently just moved to Orlando area about 2 years ago. So I just became an annual pass holder. And I've just been creating content a lot more recently and a lot more like solo days. And I also am a travel agent with KMV Travel.
awesome.
I specialize specifically in like Disney, Universal, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian. And how my Disney journey kind of started. Since I was young, my parents always took me to Disney. I was going on Disney cruises, and that's just kind of how it sparked the magic a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's always stayed with me. So yeah.
That's really awesome. And we'll make sure that the links to all of your stuff, including you as a travel agent, are down in the description below so people can get in touch with you if they are looking to book a trip. And it's
Yeah.
interesting that you said that you grew up going to Disney because I've done a few solo stories now. And what I found really interesting is that most people will say, "Oh, we went a couple times as a kid, but we didn't go regularly. Like, we weren't a Disney family." So I feel like you're the first person to say, "Yeah, we did it a lot growing up."
Yeah, I'm from Miami, so it's about a
Ah,
3 or 4 hour drive. So that was our summers. My mom is a teacher, so we had our summers were in Disney. Probably majority of our like winter breaks as well, because those were the times that my mom obviously had off and I had off. So yeah, that was a lot. And my family, even now, like that's our trip. Like
right.
we just love the parks. We love everything that it is. Even in December, we're all going together. So yeah, it's just full circle, you know?
Yeah, that's really awesome. And were you annual pass holders when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, not really. When I became an adult, I was an annual pass holder with my now husband, and we were going to the parks together a lot. And then when we moved here, we weren't annual pass holders. We actually just became pass holders in April of this year. So, yeah.
I'm always so jealous of the Florida residents and like the options for for
Yeah.
annual passes. Like I belong to a couple of Facebook groups and they'll have all these different questions. And I was like, I have one option, which is the most expensive. So I don't know what you all are talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
So, can you like tell me a little bit about your solo story? So, I love that you're saying like it's kind of come full circle, like especially with a whole bunch of family, because a lot of times people will say, "Oh yeah, like my husband or my family, they're not really into it." So now, like because everyone is kind of into it, like it's really awesome that you take that time for yourself. So, can you share your solo story?
Yeah, so I recently discovered solo traveling like a few years ago when I was an annual pass holder in Miami, and I would do like day trips. So I would just drive up like early in the morning, and then I would go for the day, and then I would drive back down the same day. It's a lot, but it was so worth it. And I just kind of wanted that magic, for a few hours and just to like be in the happy place. So that's how it kind of started. And then now that I'm a local, I'm going solo all the time. My husband loves Disney, but it's one of those things where like it's oversaturated for him already.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't care. I'm gonna go by myself. I'm gonna go, plan my day. Sometimes I go with a plan, sometimes I don't really have a plan. So it's just kind of like how I'm feeling. I have started creating like a little list of like things I want to do because it's been so long that I haven't been an annual pass holder. So I have like a running list of like I wanted to watch, Fantasmic at night, or like I wanted to do certain things that I haven't done in a really long time. So yeah, but
Oh,
that's how.
you're gonna need to have to share a little bit more of that list. So
Yeah.
Fantasmic. What are like two other things on
Okay,
that list?
let me pull it up because
Oh,
it's
good.
a long one.
I okay, first, I love a woman with a good list, especially one that's typed.
Yeah.
Are you
So
a Virgo?
no, I'm not. I'm actually a Scorpio.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, now I'm
Yeah.
on guard. I'm on guard for this conversation.
So one of my Magic Kingdom must-dos was Astro Orbiter. I've actually like never ridden that before.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
at night it's super cool because you can see like space, a mountain like lit up and like the fireworks, and it's just like another, you feel like you're in another world when you like go on that elevator. It was just really like spectacular. Like I can't even
So that
like
was something on your list that you have done.
that I haven't done that I wanted to do and I did it
But you've
already.
done it. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Excellent. I love that. All right, what else?
Happily Ever After was one of mine. I got proposed to at Happily Ever After, and I know that at some point they're gonna take it out. So I'm like, I need to like soak it in while I can. So yeah, that was one of them too. Tron, I haven't been on Tron yet, and that one is not checked off. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm excited for that. Hollywood Studios, Fantasmic at Night, of
Mhm.
course. And then Woody's Roundup Barbecue. I haven't been there yet, so heard a lot of great things.
But
Um,
also, it's not great for solos.
hmm,
So go with your family because it's family style. Like
oh,
in this
yeah,
in this podcast, truly I like provide my own recommendations, obviously, but I say like for the most part, solos. Like the idea is like book your own vacation that's best for you. But
yeah,
I do tell people not to go to family style restaurants because it's just not worth it. Like a buffet, it's like a totally different thing, but there's
yeah,
just a lot of food that gets wasted at a family style. But if you go with like a whole bunch of people, you will get your money's worth.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's something I definitely want to do with my husband because he
Yeah.
loves like
Yeah.
Toy Story. So yeah. A few other ones from Epcot were like Space 220.
Yes.
Moana, I hadn't done that yet. The
Ooh.
Wall statue, and then Flower and Garden because of the time. So
That's
yeah.
those are awesome lists. And anything on the Animal Kingdom list?
Yes, actually. So I had Everest at night because I
Yeah.
feel like that would be so cool. um, the Sully Canteen, not sure if I'm
Yeah.
saying it right.
Yeah.
Pandora. I've been once or twice, but I did want to kind of give it another shot because I've heard so many people like rant and rave about it. So I'm like, let me try it again. And then I did try the coconut cold brew coffee in Animal Kingdom.
Right?
It's by the Kilimanjaro Safari like ride,
Uh-huh.
and it's like a coconut condensed milk cold brew, and it was so good.
Okay,
Like,
because the way that you were like starting that, I was like, because I've had some Joffrey's coffee that I was like, this is disgusting. But the way you started that, I was like, that sounds that sounds like you don't like it. But I love some condensed milk and coconuts. So excellent.
yeah, that was really good. Like one of my top probably drinks now.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. What's interesting about a lot of those things on the list are they're night things. And to me, like that makes me think that, when you're doing day trips from a place like Miami, like, yeah, you're not going to stay till the very end of the night because you want to get back on the road. So it's really cool that now that you live close, but also that you're doing these trips by yourself. You want to like not only do things you hadn't done before, but also experience the parks at a different time than you have before.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really exciting. I didn't even think about it until I was like, wait, this would be a really cool thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
the Astro Orbiter one was one of the first ones that I was like, I want to do that at night. That sounds
Yeah,
really
that's cool. When you said that, like when you were in Miami and you would drive up for the day, like what was those initial like thoughts like? Like, did one day you just like get in the car and you're like, oops, I just showed up at Disney World? Or had that been like kind of things that you had been thinking about for a while? Like maybe I could go on my own. Like, let me try it out.
Yeah. I do think that it was something that I am somebody that I have anxiety, like, it is what it is. And going by myself, just the thought of it was super like nerve-wracking. But I think it was just like I gotta do this. I kind of had to like put my thoughts aside and be like, I need to just be in the magic, be immersed and in that bubble. And it just felt really good. And going like on my way, it was like, you know, preparing myself, listening to all the Disney music, hearing all the Disney vlogs, and I'm just like, okay, I'm getting ready for this. So it wasn't a terrible experience. It did definitely take me out of my comfort zone. And I'm happy that I did though, because now I've discovered this whole solo Disney life and it's a game changer for real.
It is a game changer. Yeah, I think that's so valid about like having the anxiety, like both to just spend time with yourself, but also because like it's so easy to be distracted in our normal day-to-day life, but also traveling by yourself and then going someplace that usually has like memories or ideas about family so intertwined. Like there's so many steps there that can seem intimidating, but then once you're like, nah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Yes,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
So, what is something when you're going solo that you couldn't do or maybe wouldn't do with friends and family?
Yeah, so I wouldn't just be able to kind of like freestyle my Disney day, I think. My family, since they live in Miami, they have their like non-negotiables when they come to town. Like, I want a run to wrap, or I want to
One
ride.
second, I just want to interrupt you because when you're like they're non-negotiables because they live in Miami, like I live in a different country. I interviewed someone that's coming from the UK. I'm sorry, I can't feel like super sad for your family that like your 1.5, 2 hour drive. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I missed the Dole Whip this time. I have to come back next weekend.
Yeah, I think it's more so like, maybe you feel this too. Like when you go to the park, like you want to, like you have your non-negotiables, like this trip, I want to try this and I want to do that. And I think when you're like an annual pass holder or like a solo traveler, like you can kind of just like freestyle your day and do as you please. And you don't have to always feel like you have to do everything, because you might come back by yourself or you might come back with family and they might want to do that too. So I feel like that's kind of like where my mindset was, with that. Um, as well as like I always know, like especially now as an annual pass holder, I'm like, it's okay. If I don't get that done, I might be back soon. So I'm not like in a rush where before I always
Yeah.
felt like I was. Like I was like, I need to do everything. I need to go out a rope drop and I need to stay till park close and the fireworks, like I'm closing out this park. Like so I don't feel that pressure anymore, which is nice.
Yeah, like I feel like there's, I feel like there's something about Disney that when you try to do it all, you you burst the magic. It's like when you just do fewer things, you actually get to like breathe it all in more. And when you go solo, it's a lot easier to just be like, "Oh no, I can slow down because it's just me."
Yeah.
Yeah. When you went those first solo trips, what was one of your non-negotiables?
Oof. That would be, I think, like just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah.
Like just being there and just like kind of getting content and just taking pictures and really just like watching things as they came, like the characters coming out. Like I feel like I never really just kind of stepped back and like watch things happen. I was always like in this go 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 mentality. So seeing that in a different lens was kind of really like eye opening. Like I didn't have to always feel like the rush.
Right, right. And like now that you go solo more, is there anything that like gosh, how can I say this? Like that was once something that you're like, "Oh, I definitely always have to do this every single time." But now you're like, "You know what? Now that I'm going by myself more, I realize I don't need to do this thing as much." Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say that that's probably like riding all the rides,
Yeah.
like the bigger attractions. I always felt like I needed to do them because they were the bigger attractions. They're always so long of a line, and it's like it's just those are the better ones, let's be
Yeah.
honest. And now I don't feel that. If I want to do them, that's great. But sometimes I'm like, wow, like I haven't ridden, like Peter Pan in a while. Let's go do that. Or Small World. Like those things that I didn't really want to do, maybe, as a teenager in my early adult life. And now I'm like, okay, like I'll go do those things.
Yeah, no, I love that because for me, the thing that I no longer have to do because I am going solo is actually just go to Magic Kingdom, right? Like I'll go and do the other things or spend time at resorts because I'm like, it's okay. Like I don't need to like do it all at once. And being an annual pass holder, even though I live out of the country, that also helped, even though I'm still like, I mean, I should walk into Magic Kingdom if I am here, but I don't
Yeah.
feel as pressure to like spend the whole day, which makes me enjoy it even more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends this week, she was actually like, "Oh my gosh, have you ever like gone to Magic Kingdom and then hopped over to the Poly to have Captain Cooks?" And I was like, "No, but that's a great idea." I was like- So yeah, it's just like I'm yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's because when you are going by yourself, I think it's a little bit easier to explore too, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have a list of other people's like needs. So you can be like, all right, let's go check that out. What is a
Yeah.
tip that you have for a solo traveler?
Yeah, so I would think just being yourself. I feel like a lot of times, as solo travelers, we get like in our thoughts of like people are watching me create content. I recently picked up YouTube, so I've been vlogging more in the parks and I have my camera and people are just staring at me and I just have to like kind of like shut it down and just be like, we gotta do this. This is what we're doing. Like, so I think just like being yourself and just feeling like you really have like the autonomy to do whatever you want to do and just do it. Like, so yeah.
Okay, I just want to sit in that for a second because I really love that tip and it hasn't come up yet. Like the tip of just like being yourself. Like I love that so much, Alyssa. I love that so much. One person I spoke to said like you can be like your biggest and best self at Disney.
Yeah.
And other people say like, don't be embarrassed, but like what I hear from you, what I hear from that, if you don't mind, is like you as a person, not like you as a person, but like a person is going to Disney by themselves because they really, really love it. And so if you're already there really, really loving it, then like embrace that. Don't once you get there be like, maybe I don't love it that much, right? Like, so like, yeah, like be the self that brought you there to begin with. Like, is that, am I taking what you said? Am I interpreting it the way you meant it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that actually puts it perfectly. When I first started like kind of content creating and just taking pictures and like kind of just playing around with like outfit ideas and photo opportunities, one of my cousins, I went with her and she was kind of just like telling me to do all these weird things with my hands, and I'm like, what am I like? This isn't even good. Like, what am I doing? And then after I saw the picture and I was like, wow, like that's
Yeah.
amazing. And she's like, yeah, you just have to kind of like be yourself. And I was like, well, okay, like I love that advice. So now I've just kind of like adopted that in my style and stuff too.
I love that. I love that. It's the same thing, like, speaking of like putting your hands up, like it's the same thing with like PhotoPass. A lot of people will ask, like, is it worth it? Well, it's not worth it if you're just going to do these boring pictures. But look, if you got PhotoPass, you put your hands up, you like jump, like you do all those poses, like just embrace it, like once you're there. So I love that advice. Thank you so much for sharing it. Just be yourself.
Yeah, I love it.
So, what is your favorite park? And what is something that you encourage solo travelers in particular to like do or look for or eat when they're there?
Yeah. So my favorite park is Hollywood Studios.
Oh,
I'm a big, big Star Wars fan. I actually got
oh, that's right, because that's your your Instagram name, right? Yeah, I should have.
Jedi Alley. So I'm a big Star Wars fan. I got married on May the 4th. So yeah, all the
Wait,
things.
this May the 4th?
Well, last year, May the
Oh,
4th.
okay. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yay. Yeah, that was not that long ago. Okay, well, happy 1 year and a bit anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so Hollywood Studios, Galaxy's Edge is where I would probably spend majority of my time there. And I would rope drop Hollywood Studios and get a breakfast Ronto wrap. That is my go-to. I love it. It's so good. Um,
Okay.
yeah. And then I would also get some snacks or like if I wanted to get a drink, I would get either an adult lemonade from Woody's Lunchbox
Hmm.
or the tachos. That's like my absolute favorite snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so an excellent breakfast option, and then an excellent like middle of the day. Let's get some adult lemonade. Let's get some like children type tacho. Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a fun afternoon and morning, I guess.
Yeah. I honestly think that rope dropping Hollywood Studios is very like underrated, I guess. Like people don't think about it, but everyone's kind of just like racing to get on Rise of the Resistance probably. Like that's probably like the ride they want to get on. Um, but I think if you kind of just like start your day off slow and like get a Ronto wrap, maybe have some cold brew coffee that they just came out with that's also very good from there with the cocoa puffs, and then kind of ease into it. I think that's a great like solo day, to be honest. And just being like immersed in Hollywood Studios. When I was there this past weekend, we just spent our whole day there, like taking pictures with our lightsaber and talking to the stormtroopers and seeing Kylo come out. So it was just kind of like a chill day where we just kind of took in all the Batu vibes and just immersed in that. So
That's really awesome. That's really awesome. I Hollywood Studios is my least favorite because I don't feel connected to like Toy Story or Star Wars, and because it's always MGM Studios in my heart.
yes.
You seem or you look a little bit younger than I am, so you probably like were not there for MGM Studios, or maybe you were because you grew up there as a kid a bit.
Yes, I was. I was there for the sorcerer hat, the whole thing, and I miss
Yeah,
it.
like I was there in like 89 and 92, and like the high of the streets of America and the Honey I Shrunk the Kids playground, like I can't get over those things not being there. And then there's like IP that I don't have a connection to, so I'm just like, I'll stay at Sunset Boulevard. But I love the way you described it because yeah, it's like if especially if these are lands that you really connect to, like how fun and immersive and chill they can be, right? Like I think a lot of people have so much pressure to do those big rides in Toy Story Land and in Galaxy's Edge that they not forget, but they kind of overlook that they can just chill also in those places. And so I love your suggestions for that.
Yeah, when we were there this weekend too, we just kind of like you can hear like the I don't want to make the noise because it's probably gonna sound so bad, but
You can make the noise, no one's listening.
you can hear like the like when like airplanes pass by that you hear like the wind.
Yeah, yeah.
And my husband's like, "Do you hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's them trying to make you feel like there's like a ship coming or something." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, and so,
Did you
yeah.
say okay because you don't believe him or because you were like, oh, okay, I never thought of
Yeah, I
that
was just
before?
like, "Oh, like that makes a lot of sense now." Like, I never really like. I guess when you're like in that vibe of like go go go, you can't really like take advantage of like those small little like noises that they do to like make the land feel like more Star Wars ish.
Yeah.
So that I had never like noticed that they do those like they do that. I was like, oh
Yeah. See, like the thing is, when you go as an adult, especially when you go by yourself, like obviously there's an assumption that you love Disney, right? And so if you're there by yourself or it's an adult trip generally, you can then start looking and listening and smelling for all of those details that if you're going with a big family group like that's just not going to be in your wheelhouse. But there are so many of those things throughout all the parks. I was in Animal Kingdom and I wanted to do some recording for the podcast. So I tried to find like a quiet little area and I realized that it wasn't loud like that I couldn't record there, but it was like I was in a jungle, even though I really wasn't. And I'm like, oh, because there is a speaker right there. And they put sounds of animals in. So when you're walking through the Tree of Life area and you think that you're surrounded by all these like jungle animals or insects, a lot of those are just recordings.
yeah,
And so that's so interesting that like your husband picked up on that thing for from Galaxy's Edge as well.
yeah, yeah. I love what you said about the animal kingdom too, because Pandora has a lot of that,
Yeah.
like a lot of those like noises. And I don't know if you've ever been to like Pandora at night, but the floor like lights up. Like
Yeah,
it's
I've never been there at night, but you are not the first person to say that it's pretty cool at night and it often gets overlooked.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Alyssa, this has been so wonderful. Do you have other things that you want to share with anybody, with everybody before we say goodbye?
No, I don't. I just encourage people, like I mentioned before, like to be yourself and not to feel some type of way about being solo in the parks. I think you have to just embrace it. I actually have found a lot of other people now on social media that do like solo travel, and I feel like it's becoming more of a thing. So I'm excited for that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Don't feel some sort of way. That is the quote from this episode. All right. So, how can people get in touch with you, both to like follow your adventures, but also to watch your vlogs and get in touch with you if they wanted to book a vacation?
Yeah. So I have two different accounts. One is my travel agency, and that's Kindred Kingdom Vacations. I'm more active on my personal account, which is Jedi Alley underscore. And if you wanted to book a vacation or get a quote, it's complimentary, so there's no cost to you to get a quote. And it would be my link, which is www.kmvtravel backslash Alyssa. KMVtravel.com backslash Alyssa, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And like if somebody was listening that did not have a pen, the link to all of those accounts are down in the description of this podcast so you can access it really, really easily and quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can as well, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can kind of stay updated as well with all the park content on there. I have some exciting stuff coming up. So
Ooh, I can't wait for your exciting stuff. The link to her YouTube channel is also in the description of this email. And if you are listening to this podcast on YouTube, I have a whole section on my YouTube page, which is Friends of Solo Magic. And those are all the YouTube channels of the people that have been on or that I've interviewed. And so you can go and find it easily that way too. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in the parks.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so
All right. Bye.
excited.
Hey, Solos. I hope you like this episode and all the episodes of Solo Magic, the podcast about the magic of going to Disney World solo. Please remember, if you can, to support the podcast by reviewing, by rating, by subscribing, by sharing with others, and so we can continue to build this community of solo travelers who love going to Disney World and find it the most magical ever. Also, connect with me on Instagram, Disney_solo_magic, as well as on Facebook. Can't wait to talk with you next week. Bye.